Hi, it's time for good energy, and I'm Dr. Julie at Endeavor Health and Chiropractic, and we're here to talk about how to lose that muffin top without having to work out harder, even if that's what everybody else says you need to do, the experts. About a month ago, I wrote an article, I wrote a Good Vibes Wednesday about the power of the arts. And the fact that in schools, art, when you pull art and music out, people's progress in math and English decreases. So scores drop when arts are taken out of public schools. And so I talked about the importance of making sure you get in on that creative side of yourself. Well, I happen to have a case like that popped up in the office the other day. And I want to walk you through it. I want to walk you through how the inclusion of arts and how the healing equation go together to lose that muffin top. All right. So a couple weeks ago, I was in the office and I was working with a man in his late 50s. And he has a family history of heart issues. And recently he'd had a little bit of additional stress in his life, so he had decided, in order to protect his heart, given his family history, that he should start working out a little bit more to reduce the stressors, reduce the effects that stress was having on his body. And what occurred to me while he was saying this was that yes, but now you have to take more time at the gym to do this additional workout, because now you have more stress, but now that is more stress on your day. So in the act of trying to get good energy in, saying the only way that I can reduce this stress is, or I feel comfortable reducing this stress, is exercising. I am going to take more time out of my day and sit in a gym and work out. So the increase of exercise was actually causing more stress. So thinking about it from the healing equation, even though he was exercising more, that was a stressor, and therefore overall it was going to end up reducing his energy to heal. Now, as we were talking, he also said, hey, I've got this muffin top. And I know that muffin top is not good, because that is going to be connected to my family history of heart problems. And it's also going to increase as the stress in my life increases. Now, that's a lot of things. Those are 3 sources of stressor. So he's got his family history, 1. He's got the stressful life, 2, and he's now got this additional muffin top that he's worried about, which is 3, and actually there's 4 if we really think about it in terms now that he's spending more time at the gym trying to reduce all of that. Well, one of the things that happens when we are in stress is that we produce cortisol. And what does cortisol do? Amongst other things, long-term production of cortisol allows us to put on fat for future stressors. So here is this guy that has now gone from just 2 stressors, family history and regular exercise, to now 4 stressors, additional exercise, plus the muffin top, plus family history, plus extra stressors. And so he's always going to be in a state of cortisol production, even when he gets done with his workout and he's kind of relaxing. So now, of course, that cortisol is going to start keeping that fat around. It's going to be storing it for your fear, your flight, or your freeze response. That is what that's what cortisol does. Fear, fight, or freeze. And you have to be prepared to that, because freezing isn't just stopping dead. Freezing is totally freezing and making sure that nothing sees you, you don't move, you are the deer in the headlights. Freeze. Well, according to Western medicine and the media, the only way to get rid of a muffin top is to exercise. The only way to reduce your stress load is to exercise. The only way to reduce your blood pressure is to exercise. The only way to prevent heart disease is to exercise or take this pill. Little bit by little bit, they're starting to pull in this other idea that we need to come up with something else. And that's where the healing equation comes in. We need to plug in good energy in. So even if we do have stressors of life, if we have good energy in to balance it, then the overall cortisol response is going to go down, and the body's desire to store it will all store fat and keep that muffin top there will also go down. So we know from Good Vibe Wednesdays and from our experiences in our getting a massage, getting adjusted, taking walks in the woods, giving the arts, we know that all of these are ways to get good energy in that reduce our stressors, that reduce our cortisol levels, and actually then are going to reduce our holding on to this weight. We hold on to that muffin top because we need it for the fight, fear, or freeze response. But if we include arts back into our life, if we include things that we like to create back into our life, how do we fit them back in? It reduces our overall cortisol response and we end up losing that weight. So interestingly, I proposed this to my patient and he said, how do I fit that into my day now? I've got to exercise, I've got this, I've got this, I've got this, and now you're telling me I need to do the arts once a week, every day. And I'm like, I didn't tell you you needed to do them every day. That's not what I was talking about. When you were in school and you did art and music, did you do art and music every day? Or did you do art 3 days a week and music 3 days a week, but they weren't on the same day? We don't need to do them every day. And in fact, the idea of having to fit them into every day was again an additional stressor when it's supposed to be good energy in. So one of the things we need to do is we need to say, okay, how are we going to incorporate arts and creation back into our lives? And it doesn't have to be arts. It could be music, it could be drawing, it could be painting, but I love cooking. I like knitting. So cooking and knitting are my form of arts. They're my good energy in. So think about where you can create. Think about where you can totally let your mind move and generate things and sort of remove itself from the stressor, and that cortisol level should go down. But I want you to find 1 to 2 hours a week and dedicate those hours to creation. Dedicate those hours to the arts. Dedicate those hours and make sure that, you know, if you've got something stressful, let's say you've got a deadline due, if you actually go ahead and go through that deadline while you were supposed to be doing the arts, that project isn't going to have as much, it's not going to be as good as if you said, okay, now is my time to do my arts. I need to take that time, do my arts, and then when you get back to the project, you'll actually be better at it, even though you think you won't. This is the whole idea behind pulling arts out of education resulted in lower scores. They thought just pushing through and doing all of the studying would increase everybody's scores. It didn't. That stress response was there. That cortisol level was there. So even if it feels like a stressor to take a few minutes and read and do something creative, it's actually going to reduce the stress and make you more efficient at what you do. This is also kind of tied into the fact that some corporations and some entire countries are moving to 4-day work weeks because they discover that those 3 days off where people can completely de-stress actually makes them more productive in the time that they're actually working. So getting back to losing your muffin top, exercise may be de-stressing for you, but creation is even more de-stressing. And so creation decreases cortisol, and should therefore decrease your muffin top. I want you this week to challenge yourself to find an hour a week that you can do something creative, that you can increase your arts, with the idea that in that space, your cortisol level decreases. And in spite of what media and Western medicine say, you are not going to have to exercise to get rid of that muffin top. You can reduce your cortisol level and the body will let go of that muffin top because it doesn't need to have it anymore. It doesn't need to keep it in order to keep on alert and be ready. So remember, healing equation. We want to work on de-stressing by providing good energy in. It doesn't mean we have to worry about doing more. We just need to find spaces where we can include the arts, just like including music and art in school. All right. Thanks for watching. If you have any comments or questions, please put them in the comments section. It's good to see you. Remember that if you're a woman and you're looking at how to incorporate the healing equation into your everyday life, please go ahead and sign up for a request to join the Healing Equation group on Facebook. As always, www.endeavorhealthandchiropractic.com. You can get to the website there to schedule an appointment. You can read the blogs. You can get a link to the videos so that you can watch these things without being linked to Facebook. All right, folks, have a great weekend. Take care. I will see you next week.